Hello, I don't really know what this video is going to be yet, but I'm about to start wiring up a pedal board. I think I might try out some different overdrives and yeah, see what my overdrive preferences are at the moment. Okay, so we're starting with a fairly blank board. I'm pretty sure I'll keep the Embers on there because I really like the Underdrive, but I think to save space I won't put the companion on. Don't think I'm going to use this octave this time either. I'm going to put the 8 on, put new knobs on there, fancy new knobs. Yeah, twin parallel, broadcast. I wonder if I could find my blues driver. Okay, so I've got my blues driver and I've been thinking about an order. So I'm going to go Embers into the tuner, into the broadcast, I think. Let's see, I mean, we could do quite a spacious layout probably, although I was thinking about putting that delay on there. Right, okay, let's do, should we do that for the broadcast? And so that's going to be output from the tuner, input into the broadcast down here. Wait, no, hang on, that's not right. The input is up here. Could I use a shorter cable for that? No, it's going to have to be that long one. Into there. And then from the broadcast, are we going to fit that in here? Only if we're not using the loop. I mean, we can move this along a bit. Lots of Velcro. I'll put a link actually in the video description to the guy who makes these pedal boards, because it is very nice. Very nice board. Okay, and a nice guy, obviously. Well, not necessarily obviously, but he is nice, or at least, you know, was over the conversation that we had. Obviously, if I was doing this properly, I would try and make it a bit neater, and also like put the things in power order, if that makes sense. So I'm going to plug that in there because that's routed all the way down to the bottom of the board already. And then that's too small, but this one will be okay. Maybe I'll use this one to come out of the broadcast and go into my modded ODR-1. I've said before, but that's different clipping diodes. Yeah, kind of suits my ears a little bit better. I always found the original one really compressed, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but maybe a bit scoopy because of the compression. And yeah, just by kind of raising the headroom and using different diodes, it's just become so much more usable. So I'm going from the ODR-1, we're coming around here into the blues driver. Let's see, are we going to get this delay on? Might have to go sideways with the delay, which I don't love. And actually, even then, that's not going to fit. So could we stack around here? Could we go blues driver this way? And twin boost here might be quite nice. Well, not really nice. Really nice would be a lot more organised than that. Oh, that's not got Velcro on yet. And then let's route some power in there for this one. This one's a tight squeeze against the top of the blues driver, so not bad. Yeah, this is messy, but well, definitely nearly knocked everything off the table. That's feeding through around here somewhere. So then we'll go from there into the input of here, go into one of the higher current inputs, down this end. I'm going to come stereo out of this delay into this input here. I really like having two short delays They're kind of different on each side. And you find this big chunky one at such short notice. But it reaches, so not necessarily the prettiest board, but let's check if everything turns on. Awesome. Right, time to adjust camera angles, get guitars set up, and then we'll play through some different overdrives. Okay, here we are. So this is my clean sound. I'm playing my Tele, as I'm sure you can see. It's super clean, spanky. I'm playing through a stereo AC30 setup. So I go into a harmonic trem and then it splits between two exactly the same set amps on the HX Stomp. There's a tremolo in one of them. And then two slightly differently mic'd up IRs from Tone Factor, both of the same cab but different mics. The effects loop and the compressor are turned off. This is my kind of go-to reverb sound. So dry. And then in the left, I have a slap from an RE201. And in the right, I have this slow slap. It kind of fades in. And they're slightly timed differently, so you get really nice kind of space from it. So there you go, clean sound, nice buzz, that kind of thing. There we go, so into the Embers, I've got the input level, so the underdrive switch turned on. That's kind of my default, because I will use this as like a lowish gain overdrive way more than I will use it as a full fuzz. But full fuzz, this is the sound that I have it set to use. Fairly full range. You get some of that fuzzy sizzle. It's very immediate, very present. Yeah, you're really going to cut through with that as your kind of rhythm sound. Very dynamic. Obviously, the whole of the Embers fuzz circuit is designed for being dynamic. So even with the underdrive already on, it cleans up really nicely. There we go, there'll be the Embers fuzz. I was thinking, like, there's so much fuzz on this board. Sorry, no, there's so much overdrive on this board. and whether I would actually use it like that. But in reality, like if it's the kind of gig where I could take a big board to, then I would. Like I really like having lots of different flavors of overdrive. Kind of keeps things, you know, fresh and keeps things inspiring. So that's clean. The blues driver was a mainstay on my board forever. I can't remember exactly when I got this, but I reckon over 15 years ago. And yeah. I think usually I would use it more like this, and it'll be pretty much always on because that's quite a sterile sound, you know. Part of me was thinking of modding the blues driver, but to be honest, I don't know what mod I would do to it. Like, yeah, I think it's just great as it is. Another pedal that's great as it is the Broadcast. Yeah, modelled on like a Sound Desk's kind of preamp. So the breakup is really unique. Almost similar to that Underdriven fuzz sound. I just realised that the harmonic tremolo was in mono, so I've moved it into the just 1 amp. So now I've kind of got a wet-dry thing going, but in stereo. So we've had the Embers, the blues driver, the Broadcast, now my modded ODR-1. Let's change key again, shall we? Yeah, I think that's this like rockier kind of overdrive distortion sound that I have. Especially when stacked up. Yeah, that change in diodes in that pedal I'm really happy with. That's our clean. Here is the twin parallel. So just to remind you, the twin parallel mixes between a clean side of the twin boost you can hear a bit of that kind of biasy sound underneath, but only if you let it sustain. And then the other side is the kind of the blue side, the left side, with the bias starved. And so this knob feels like a gain knob, but it's actually a mixed knob. Has the kind of immediacy and speed of just a kind of, you know, single transistor boost, or even this kind of, well, I guess like the Embers will be a double transistor, but that kind of thing. But then blending in the clean just means it's so kind of articulate. Yeah, really enjoying that pedal. Yeah, very happy with the twin parallel. Super versatile as well for a 2-knob, 2-switch pedal. Yeah, nice. And then on to this, the 8. I realised just today that a good reason why it could be called the 8 is because it's got this switch, which is the diode switch, and then it's got this switch, which is 4 different tone modes. So I guess you have 8 different kind of flavours from the 8. But anyway, keeping them kind of as far away, not as far away, but like as kind of full range as the rest of them are. It's not super full range, but this is kind of it wide open. And on the asymmetrical clipping side as well, the symmetrical side kind of tames it a bit more. But yeah, you get a bit more of that kind of fast attack from the asymmetrical side. It's because one of the clipping diodes is a higher kind of forward voltage than the others. Yeah, it's all quite a unique kind of perfectly, well, I like to think perfectly balanced setup in the 8. Did lots of blind tests, and kind of this was the diode arrangement which I came to, and it is not kind of modeled on anything at all. I mean, the basic shape of the circuit is of a tube screamer, but and it, you know, it can do that mid boosty thing. Let's change key again. But what I'm suggesting I don't know if I learned anything specific from that little kind of test of different things, other than it's nice to have overdrive pedals and nice to choose more than one every now and then. I think if that was a shootout, you know, the fuzz would almost certainly be on there. It's quite versatile to like use as a overdrive as well as a fuzz, you know. Yeah, I don't know quite what would replace that really. The fuzz and the broadcast do a similar thing, right? Because the broadcast has that second kind of boost channel that you can kind of make a bit more fuzzy, but it isn't like a vintage fuzz sound. It's its own thing, right? Which is cool and stuff. But yeah, so I think that trumps that for me. Similar kind of vibe. There are things that I prefer the broadcast for as well. Like I love the broadcast as a kind of clean texture. I think the blues driver is great, but I can get the twin parallel to sound like the blues driver, or at least to do the job of it, and still retain some of that kind of clarity from the blend. I mean, the blues driver is a soft clipper. Well, I think it has both soft and hard clipping in there, so it kind of does that thing as well. But yeah, and then the ODR-1, again, like it does a thing, doesn't it? It does its own kind of unique job, in my opinion at least. I think, you know, were I to swap that for anything, maybe I would swap it for a Rat. I know I didn't quite demo it in that sense, but to me it's got that kind of feel of a distortion pedal almost, but with the kind of dynamics and character that comes from an overdrive pedal. And then the 8 I like as a solo boost on the asymmetrical clipping side on pretty much any of the tone settings. I think this gives enough a mid hump that it gives that compression like into the amp that is a good thing about kind of a tube screamer pedal. So yeah, I think these two are coming off. And then what would I put on? Like in reality, I put on my reverb pedal because I use a lot of longer reverbs in some of the stuff that I do. That probably I could set up in here, but I would swap this for like a delay pedal that was the same size as these. I think for now I'm going to leave that as it is, but knowing that these two will come off and I'll put something else on instead. Yeah, the original twin boost, I didn't include that. I didn't include that because, not because of space, but because it's not really an overdrive. Like I know we've got the twin parallel on there, but it feels, especially with the volume and tone cuts, or the attenuator and the tone cut, it feels more like an overdrive pedal. The twin boost to me kind of is so loud. It's a volume boost, you know. It's a solo boost without the kind of mid hump, without the mid compression thing that the 8 does.